Hi, I'm Celestine Hart, and I'm going to show you some craft things that I've made. I've been enjoying making my own craft supplies. I've been making stamps and stencils, and I've been using those, and I've been having a ball doing that. And I've been using those for art journaling and for backgrounds for paintings. So, uh, if you hold on just a second, I'm going to move my camera, and we'll be able to take a look at some of the things that I've done. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about making craft stencils. And here I use my craft stencils most of the time with my jelly plate or with my spray inks. And I make my own spray inks and I buy some spray inks and I have a ball with that. But what I want to do is show you um, some of the stencils that I've made. I'm going to show you the stencils. I'm not going to go through any how-tos because that'll take too much time, and so many other YouTubers have already uh, done their uh, done their how-tos on these, and most of these techniques I learned from looking at YouTube. So real quick, this is using the Cricut machine. I designed this layout of various uh, circles on the Cricut craft room and then cut it. I only have a personal Cricut, so you don't need the fancy new machine to do something like this. You do need to hook your Cricut up to the computer, and you do need a cartridge that has a circle. But many of the cartridges have a basic circle. And so here's one that I've done. Here's one I've done using various flowers. I believe these flowers, and I use craft foam for this, and you can also buy the sheets that are uh, stencil material. I want to show you one thing. When I'm experimenting, I cut my stencil out of regular cardstock. I'll take a piece of cardboard and I'll use the like a cereal box, and I'll cut the stencil that I like, and I'll cut it, and if I use it so much that it's starting to wobble and not be good, then I go ahead and I've saved that in Cricut Craft Room, that design, and then I cut it out of something a little more durable. Here I cut the stencil again, that same stencil, again uh, using of some people call this funky foam, but the foam sheets. When you shop, you can find the foam sheets anywhere. I like to find them thicker, and I'll explain why later when I go into the stamps. But here's that same stencil again. I liked it so much I made myself two when I made it so that I have it available, and that way I can cover a full sheet in one spray if it's a large project. Um, Using the waste from cutting Cricut items this is from the Forever Young cartridge, and using the waste as a stencil is great. So now I can add or stencil in a pair of shoes in the background of a design, etc. I did the same thing with keys. I love the keys. Let's see, I'll put this on the yellow so you can see it. I have these jelly print papers down here and spray papers because watching YouTube, I know that the camera doesn't like plain white, so I tried to put something beneath here. Plus, it allows you to see the stencils a little better. Another trick that I've learned. Here's another one where I arranged a basic shape and made a stencil out of it. And I just used this stencil like crazy, the honeycomb shape. But what I did was just use a hexagon that came in one of my cartridges. I looked to find a basic hexagon shape. And when I found the hexagon shape, I arranged it on the mat this way. And I also, when I show stamps, I use the hexagons to make a stamp, the hexagons that I cut out to make a stamp. this is a stencil here. Large stencil here is a, another cut from Forever Young. I used a regular old box from, I think it's a foil wrapper box, and I cut the dress form shape from Forever Young stencil, Cricut stencil, and the actual dress form that I cut out, I used here for this design. Okay, now here's the dress form that I cut out. I also used the stencil to spray in a ghost image in the background, and I used a smaller, uh, same image dress form, just shrunk down smaller, which using the craft room you can cut them very, very large or small. And this was a fun project. I just tore up normal. I didn't buy anything special for the flowers. I just took apart normal silk or fake silk flowers uh, and glittered them and painted them. Okay, now I got a couple other things to show you. This is a waste from, this is the waste from a cutout, and I could use that to make a border, to spray a border or stample or stencil a border. This is a waste from a group of flowers, and I just repeated that flower from, it was one flower in the design. I just repeated that same flower over and over again. And this makes a great stencil on projects. And just to show you, I'm going to take and just use a little spray. And I guess I need to use one that's spraying a little better than that. Okay, I'm just going to use a little spray through this, and I think you can see that shadow repeated flower makes a great stencil. Another thing you can do if you don't have a Cricut is just look at your packaging. Sometimes packaging windows and has great sidelines. You can use your decorative scissors to cut out side functions. For instance, this is just the plain the wrappers for foil, and they had a little perforated uh, edge, and because that little perforated edge was shaped round, I think I'm going to try a different color here. I'm going to take that and make a border around my project. Just spray. My sprays don't want to. Yeah, they're spraying. I should have tested it first. Now, pick that up, and that gives me that little perforated, and I'll have to hold this up close so you can see it's giving me that little border around the side of my paper. One last thing I'm going to show you this time is this is just a plain die cut scrapbook paper, and I think I got a group of them on sale for $7, and I got a few die cut sheets. I got this one and a die cut happy birthday and a couple other sheets in the package. Actually, it was originally $7. I got it for $1.99. And this die cut sheet, what I did was take it outside, spray it with a lacquer or varnish, and you could just spray it with hairspray and use it until it eventually would soak in, and you'd lose it, but it would do a lot of stenciling before it fell apart. And for instance, I used that die cut paper with some ink on this just some paper, and this paper is actually from a large book of poetry that I use as my old paper, and so that made for a great background. a great background stamp, background stencil. So that is the end of showing the stencils that I've had fun creating and using in my various projects. Um, Part two, I think I'll do one about different stamps that I've been using, because I've been using a lot of different, making my own stamps also. So thank you for watching.